Hello everyone and welcome to another tuning guide for Forza Horizon 5. Again, it's been a long time since I've uploaded a video, but now I'm back again with a very spicy car. To be fair, I'm really looking forward to making those tuning videos or tuning guides more often when Forza Horizon 6 finally drops. Until then, I'll keep doing videos for this already over 4-year-old game. Anyways, I was ready to play around with this beautiful McLaren 765 LT, which somehow handles not that great with the stock setup. One of the biggest problems may be those quite slim front tires. I mean, even my G42 M240i comes with 245s on the front, but I guess that's a different scenario. But now, enough complaining, let's get to the tuning section, and we are starting with the drivetrain. Yes, I'm going for an AWD build, even though I'm always saying that this is blasphemy, but in this case it's necessary. You will see the reason in just a few minutes. Next up, the aerodynamic parts. We're using both the wing and the splitter. We absolutely need that to make the car corner, because without those parts it would just understeer as heck. In this build I'm definitely going for function over design. Next up, tires and rims. Of course we are going for full slicks, and of course we need the thickest tires possible. I mean, the car isn't heavy at all, considering that this thing now has all-wheel drive and an 8-cylinder. So those wide tires on the front axle aren't strictly required, but with the final power this car will have, it's better to have enough grip up the front. To make the car even more stable and look better, we are also increasing the track width. Now, in the drivetrain section, we are going to use a 6-speed transmission because we don't need any more gears. Then we are going to use the race driveline and the race differential. Since we did the AWD swap, it's definitely necessary to use the race diff, otherwise we couldn't set up everything properly and the car would handle pretty bad. Apropos handling. In the platform and handling section, we are going to install a full race roll cage to make the car as stiff as possible. After this, we are making the car lose 139 kilograms. Keep in mind that we are now under 1300 kilograms, and since we are pushing the power output even higher, to nearly 1000 HP and 1000 Newton meters to be precise, you should now understand why we need the all-wheel drive in this car. And then we are done with the hardware tuning. 972 horsepower, 964 Newton meters of torque, on 1270 kilograms. This car will be an absolute rocket ship. Before we are comparing the stock and the tuned car against each other, I'll show you the fine tuning I've done to the car. As always, we are starting with the tire pressure. Since the car still tends a tiny bit to understeer and therefore the front tires are heating up a bit more, the pressure needs to be a bit lowered, so the pressure while racing remains in the sweet spot between 2.2 and 2.3 bar. For the gear ratio, I actually wanted to make the first gear a bit shorter for a brutal launch, but when going lower than this value, the car will most likely spin all 4 wheels, especially when they are not heated up before. If needed, you can also make the final drive longer, because you can definitely hit 370 kph on the straight. Downhill on the highway I've achieved 378 kph, and the limiter will be at around 400 kph. In terms of alignment, you will notice something unusual. The camber is really low, but you need it that low. Otherwise, the outer tire won't heat up, and then the tire will heat up too much. I found this to be the best value. The toe is set up to make the car turn a bit sharper. The front caster made no big difference whatsoever. The anti-roll bars are set up to make the car turn in better. More extreme values like 10 on the front and 55 on the rear made the car handle badly, so I think these values are acceptable. The springs on the other hand are on the harder side, considering the low weight of the car. Usually you should use a front value of around 850 to 750 and a rear value of 1100 and 1200, but stiffer springs are usually better until the point of traction loss. That's also the reason why I haven't lowered the car much more. It would be too low and might scratch here and there. The dampers are more on the softer side. Those values felt good for me. In terms of aero, I wanted the car to turn in sharper, so the front downforce is quite high. You could also decrease the rear downforce a bit more if you want more top speed, at the cost of stability in corners. Still, there should be enough room to play with. The brakes are set up to stop this car in like 3 meters when braking from VMAX. When playing without traction control like I do, you shouldn't slam those brakes because otherwise they will lock up. For my setup, this was the sweet spot. These differential settings will help the car to turn in much better. If you feel like it, you can also set the center more towards the rear and increase the rear acceleration lock, but I think that these values are already good to go. So, now we are done with the tuning section, let's get to the fun part. Oh, and there's the share code if you want to use the tune yourself. 3, 2, 1, go. Both cars are starting the flying lap, with the white McLaren, the tuned one, already showing a speed difference of 15 kph at the start-finish line. But as you can see, the gap is growing even more. When both cars hit the first checkpoint, the gap has ballooned close to 30 kph, causing a time difference of over 1 second. While these two rockets heading down to the second checkpoint, you will see how much more stable and easier to control the tuned one is. Even the understeer is much better through those fast corners. The speed difference is massive in this section. The time gap has already grown to over 3 seconds. Now they are sprinting to the fastest section of the whole track. As mentioned before, the understeer problem isn't completely gone, as you can see right now, but I also was a tiny bit too fast in that corner. Even though I made that mistake, the tuned 765 LT can carry more speed. At a slow corner you can also clearly see the advantage of that all-wheel drive. The gap is now close to 6 seconds. As they are heading down to the University of Guanajuato, you will witness that the aero of the tuned McLaren stops it from pulling away even more. At the start of the section, the speed difference was 25 kph. But at the checkpoint marker, the speed difference was only 22 kph. Still, the aero helps just a few seconds later to easily maneuver through the fast corner combinations. The gap is already over 8 seconds. At the slowest part of the track, the AWD helps to keep the car steady, while the stock McLaren is struggling desperately for traction. I've even made a big mistake here, so I had to use the replay button. Shame on me, I know. Anyways, now it's your turn. Do you think the gap has already grown to 10 seconds? The answer is yes. Nearly 10.2 seconds has the tuned McLaren taken away from the stock one. Now, let's enter that section that is the most fun for me. As both cars are flying to the first corner, you can see the 200 HP power difference again, but afterwards you will also see the understeer problem again. Still, at the right hander the stock McLaren is exactly 30 kph slower than the tuned one in mid-corner. Both cars are now flying to the final straight, and I want you to hear that flat plane crank V8. Enjoy this orchestra. As both cars cross the finish line, the time difference is at a massive 13 seconds. To give you a comparison, the stock McLaren is as fast as a tuned Carb Lotus Exige Carb 430 or a tuned Porsche #92 GTT 911 RSR. What a name. The tuned McLaren on the other hand is just 1.5 seconds slower than a stock Aston Martin Valkyrie and a bit over 3 seconds slower than a Valkyrie with optimized fine-tuning values. This makes the McLaren definitely competitive, especially considering the Valkyrie is a crazy car in terms of cornering speed. But now, we are at the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or suggestions, please use the comment section below. I hope to see you next time, and until then, keep the revs up high and the weight down low.